like what you say anyway.
Get that out. Oh!
Yeah, g'day, mate. What's cracking? What's C-racking? What are we doing? Just hanging out. Spedsy here. Real name Rob. Done a few of these, mate. So what should you expect? It's just me sitting here drawing stuff, and talking stuff. So yeah, got that going for me. I've tried grooming myself a little bit, and I think I don't think I washed my face properly because there was a little bit of dry. This is too much information. There's a little bit of dry skin there, mate. So I brushed it with a towel, and then a whole bunch more started. And then I think I'm got a husk that needs peeling off. Look, let's just get to it. There's not many of you here as yet, so I'm a bit flustered. Although you could argue the more people that were here, the more flustered I would get. So who knows? But we're just going to draw a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit, and we'll see what happens. It's freezing cold here in Melbourne, so I've got half a glove on. It's colder than your mama's heart. But, you know, look, we've got a little heater on here, mate. And, yeah, we're just going to get cracking. If you can spare the clicks, no pressure. Vamoose.spedsy.com. There's a Kickstarter running right this second for Vamoose, an anthology that features some of the greatest talents here in Australia for you to take a look at and maybe get your face around. All right. We'll talk more about that as we get cracking, huh? But we'll go for as long as I can be bothered, or for as long as you, I don't know, keep me company or something. So yeah, please bring on the comments. Will I put them on screen? Unlikely, only because you know I should be doing this, and then I've got to click that. So. Pardon me, I just smashed some mineral water before coming online here. So the bubbles have got me. Bubbles are all up in me throat area. Speaking of throat areas, shout out to Omnibo of the Aussieverse for having me this evening. But also, well, look, I don't know much, but I'm going to extrapolate a few things. So while we get underway here, my understanding is that Bo ate a ghost pepper. So obviously a pepper at some point passed away, untimely, I guess, and had some unfinished business. So this ghost pepper, Bo decided to eat him. And what ensued was a inflamed Abdullah the Butcher. What's that thing called? Oblongata. You know, the little baby's arm holding an apple in the old. So the way I understand it is that his little guy. Speaking of little guys, sorry, a little bit of homework here, mate. Let's just see what we're up to. Yeah, they're on the other arm there, mate. So make sure you're drawing them on the right side there, mate. So he eats the soul of this would-be pepper, and what's happened is the pepper has sought revenge or something, or maybe the unfinished business was to infect him or something. But anyway, so Abdullah the Butcher has increased in size. It's inflamed, if you will. And despite an onslaught of antibiotics, it is not going down. So the man's got a what you might call a throat stiffy. So he's got that going for him. So the poor guy can't talk. So yeah, quick shout out to Bo. One of those rare times when Bo is quiet. So yeah, but yeah, thanks to Omniverse and thanks to Bo for letting me use the Indiggery. Yeah. Peter Lane, what's up, man? I need to get my bearings a little bit here because I actually haven't done anything for about a week. Not how I like it. And so, the pen's still thick, my mojo is absent. So yeah, just bear with me while I find my feet there, mate. Nick Mayo. Nick Mayo in the house, hanging out on top of your schnitzels. Damn it, missed the start, says Omnibo. Was waiting for the notification. Yeah, well, you obviously didn't click the button hard enough there, Bo, because she be started. She be started. Yeah, midday, Spedsy, says Claudia. So, like, what time are we meeting up? Yeah, midday, Spedsy. Okay, sweet. See you then. And then a follow-up. Yeah, Yeg. G'day, Spedsy. Claudia's saying, yeah, she's loving the silence as well. Of course, she of the Bow household. Click, wood chip. Turn it into paper. So what else we got going on? Today sees the release of Battle for Bustle Volume 2, Issue 1. I think it said Episode 1. So that's available over at the Comex shop, comex.shop. And they're still crazily doing a flat shipping rate. Which, you know, my go-to joke, mate. Yeah, that's pretty much how you want your comics to arrive. Flat. Yeah, rightio. There's a bit of, if you're a sluggish, if you're into the sluggish of it all, there might be some spoilers here, but or you could take it as a little bit of a sneak peek. I've left one of the more tricky panels to do with this nonsense going on here, but we'll power through it. My cheat for backgrounds is to lift my pen every now and again and make it look kind of sketchy-ish. Well, and I don't know that that's the words, but yeah, so did I say it? Comex.shop. Go check out Battle for Bustle issue 5 / volume 2 /1. /1? Yeah, come on, mate. So what have we talked about? Battle for Bustle, Omnibo's little throat doodle. Oh, my skin's falling off. Yeah, I actually wrote that down. I thought that'll be interesting. Yeah, talk about your skin falling off. I have been toying with the idea of dyeing my hair and my beard, but like owning it, because you'll see it. Like, you'll be like, boy, that old man does look like a whippersnipper all of a sudden. That's not how it goes. I wouldn't look like a whippersnipper. What is going on with me? A whippersnipper. A young whippersnapper. That's half whippersnipper, half snapper fish. Yeah, snapped him, mate. You ruddy old guys with your medical conditions, says Nick Mayo. Mayo. Nick may come and he wants to go home, which is pretty accurate. I'm finding more Nick May in myself every day. No, I don't like doing things like at all. Like, I knew I should do this, and I knew that once it started, I'd be kind of into it and okay with it. But man, today I was just like, can I just cancel it? There's nothing better than cancelled plans. Sorry, concentration. I don't think I like this sketchy-esque background. I think I need to commit here, guys. Because part of me is just like, why would I do this panel on stream? It's such an annoying, boring panel. I literally just arrived home, says Nick May. Well, good. Let me guess. I am on your screen, TV in the lounge room, which doesn't make me feel weird at all. Yeah, Bo says his vulva looks like a penis. I can't talk. It's horrible, but everyone loves it. Way to have a vulva. I've been calling her Crandall. So one of my plans on the phone as I drive in the rain, says Nick May. Nice. Glad to be accessible. All right, I hate this panel. I don't want to do it live on stream. It's too repetitive and weird. Let's just jump all over the place and do this lady. This is me trying to do a good, like an attractive lady in the Sluggish verse. So she's still a slug, but it's meant to be clear to you, the reader, that that's a good-looking slug right there. So I'm not sure if I have or will Brian nail it, but we're going to give it a red-hot crack there, mate. Which fortunately Bo doesn't have. It's just a throat thing. His crack is, from all reports, not red hot. It's fine down there. So it's got that going for him. That doesn't sound safe, Nick. Gee, these young people and their carelessness. Omnibo dropping... Hey, Omnibo, you should drop $5 in the super chat. Sure, the money goes to yourself and would work out to then be $4.50, but just so I can say that I got Aussieverse a super chat. Yeah, so one of my thoughts was to, in an effort to pimp Sluggish's friend Vamoose, is that I would go through the contributors of this latest issue and tell you a little something about them, when oftentimes I don't know much about them. Some of them I've never met. Is that a good-looking slug? I don't think so. Well, Bo just dropped a $5 super chat, and he gets his wish. He's asked for one of these.
No one wants to hear from Spedsy. Yeah, g'day, mate.
Well, yep, that was. I hope that was worth it, Bo. A red hot $5 in my pocket for you to get that. Looking brilliant, Spedsy. Ben, get out of here, mate. No way. But I'll take it. Yeah, so look, speaking of Ben, he's the last on the list of we'll just start with what the Kickstarter's got there, mate. So the first guy up there, mate, right, his name's Rob Lyle, mate. Yeah, right. So I had this friend in high school, and should I say his name? His name was Darius Kliss. And one day he saw my name written down as R. Lyle. And he goes, R. Lyle, you can rely on you, can't you? And yeah, was laughing at how much he had just, I guess, pwned me or owned me or shamoed me. And then I said, meanwhile, yours is literally D. Kliss. Dickless. We had a good laugh. Well, he was mainly crying, but I like to think years later he was able to look back and have a good laugh, mate. She got long arms, this lady. After YouTube. Oh, so Bo just gave himself a red hot $2.49. Congratulations. So next up on the list, we have Nick May, who appears in Vamoose. Now, what can we say? What can we say about Nick May that hasn't been said about the wild African hippo? He has large nostrils, spends most of his time submerged, and has really underestimated jaw strength. That was a long way to go for nothing. Well, look, so you got Nick May, right? He's in there, mate. I met Nick May a long time ago in a galaxy just down the road. Ben Sullivan into house. Go watch Sting for more Sullivan art. Bo, I do believe that Ben is actually on the way to Adelaide to watch said Sting and see his own art on the screen and all that good stuff. So yeah, Mick May, beautiful man, great illustrator. This is a bit of pressure because he's probably one of the people who are watching of the list. He's probably the only person watching. But pardon the mineral water burps. Fair to say, a large chunk of my illustrating style comes from Nick, which reminds me, I've been itching to show people my two very first characters ever. One was this guy. This was literally how he looked all the time. And he just looked like that. And I don't even think he had an eyeball like that. I think it was just like that. And then this would fill in depending, like his mouth would fill in depending on what he was up to. But it would always stay agape like that. And then his body, I'm pretty sure, was just your regular Bart Simpson ripoff body. Bing, bang, boom. Like that. And then the other guy, erase. The other guy was this guy. He had a flat top, and he had this big round nose. And then he kind of had Homer Simpson-ish lips. And he always wore sunnies. And these were coloured in. And his hair looked like Frankenstein's, except for a fringe that went like that. And that was that guy. And so these two dudes would run around together. and get up to all kinds of mischief. But that was also the only way I could draw. So if they met a lady, it would be put some eyelashes on and go like that. And there's a lady. So there's a drawing class for you, mate. Did we cover Nick May? I don't think we did. So a lot of you know the story. One day I should blog about it or something, get it down in the annals of time. But yes, I would sit at Nick May's drawing table because I was best friends with his brother, and they shared a unity / bedroom. They shared a unity, like a brotherly unity. And so I would sit and pore over the pages. I think that's a thing. And I learned a lot about how to draw just by studying that artwork. I don't know about this. Why do I choose to draw in front of people? This is not how to do it. And such weird. Can we draw something else? Who we got next? Michael Lawyer. So Michael Lawyer, maybe. Look, he and I go way back, mate. I remember when we started on Family Guy together. That's not true. No, Michael Lawyer actually is I think he has directed one episode of Family Guy, but he mainly works on American Dad. And he is just a gentleman who had followed both me and Nick on Instagram for quite a while. And had a really nice... Oh, I hate this. Had a really nice art style and whatever. And then upon further looking, I realized, he's American. And, he works on American Dad and King of the Hill. I freaking can't stand this. You go away for a while. I'll deal with you later. So I just thought, and he was very complimentary on Nick's work and on my stuff on Instagram, and I just thought, I wonder. And I sent him The Devil's Toilet and Vamoose and stuff just as just for free, just for, hey man, check this out. Whatever, and he was very complimentary, and then I just thought, I'll just ask him. I'll just suck it up and ask him, mate. So I asked him if he wanted to join us on the next Vamoose, and he said yes, sir. And the rest, they say, is history. And he does a very fun. Actually, the most toilet jokes in this comic are from him. Next up, Robbie Donaldson. Well, we've got it written down as Robert Donaldson, which I wonder if... I think he does have a pen name. But we know him affectionately as Saddle Slap. The Saddle Slapping Robbie Don. How do I know Robbie Donaldson? I know him, got to know him through Peter Wilson. He's like Peter Wilson's sidekick. Is that a thing? Or perhaps Peter Wilson is Robbie Don's sidekick. Who's to say? Robbie Don has just dropped I think it's a kid's book. I don't know that for sure. Called Meet the Cronies? Meet the Cronimos? Meet the Cronimos. I think that's it. And it's like these weird animal-y, alien type Duvalakis. Great artist. He does a really cool he'll make up his own Jedis and Sith Lords and all kinds of stuff, and droids. Not just Star Wars stuff, but I don't know, that's the stuff I sort of was like, whoa, I love that. just does lots of character creation stuff, and he has a style all his own. Old triangle eyes, Robbie Don. His characters have triangle eyes. His eyes are squares, strangely enough. Who's next? Peter. Oh no, Nicholas Cleary. Yeah, g'day. Look, mate. Nicholas Cleary. What can I say about Nicholas Cleary that hasn't been said about 90s Brad Pitt? He's hanging out with, what's that guy's called? What's that? What? All right. Let's just do it over. I'll cut that bit out. Not that I've got a joke now, but I'm going to go for it again. What could be said about Nicholas Cleary that can't be said about early 90s Brad Pitt? He's in a hole, digging a hole in that movie called California or something. I don't know. That was a long way to go for nothing. Look, my wife said it best when she said, Nick Cleary is normal. You can hang out with him as much as you want. No, I do not need permission. Though I do like to have permission, but no, I don't need permission from my lady friend. But I had a bit of a run of hanging out with some doinks. And so my wife felt the need to sort of put her foot down and lessen my doink quota. So when she had the pleasure, nay, the honor of meeting Nick Cleary, she approved. And she said, go forth. Continue thy friendship. She talks like a Game of Thrones character. It's worrisome. Speaking of, how about that House of the Dragon, huh? Meanwhile, not a single one of them lives in a house. Pretty sure they all live in caves. Pretty sure we could sue somebody over that one. Now, a bit of a Peppa Pig situation here with this character here. They always have their both eyes on the same side of the head. So no matter which way they're facing. So, Peppa Pig is... I don't know for sure. It's been a long time since I've seen Peppa Pig. That's not it. But Peppa Pig always has her ears like this. And then so if you were to see Peppa Pig straight on, it would be... yeah, so there you go. There's Peppa Pig for you. Stay tuned for more drawing lessons with Spedsy. All right, so I think the name of the game here is pick and choose which bits I want to do. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. No, I think it's about, I don't know what it's about actually. It's about having fun, mate. If you're not having fun, what are you doing it for? So let's just jump around here and do all the easy stuff and leave all the hard stuff for later. For later, I hardly know it. That's inappropriate. None of them lives in a house, says Omnibo. That would be all the dragons from before when we were talking about dragons. Let's just try. This panel looks like and there's a couple of two easy panels here. So let's finish those from start to finish. That's how finishing works, from start to finish. Did we finish on Nick Cleary? So Nick Cleary was a, I want to say a last minute addition to Vamoose, which sounds ridiculous because he was invited to the book like a year and something ago. But he was the last to join, I'm pretty sure. So it required an amendment of the front cover to include his characters on it. But we got there in the end, mate. We got there. So yeah, look, good guy, good art. What more can you ask for? One pupil's bigger than the other. Maybe not. Yeah, so this character, I've not really even designed yet. It's just sort of loosely done in these thumbnails, and I hate it. And I don't know what to do about it. In front of you is not the place to show my weakness. Instead, I'll just talk about my weaknesses. So Nick Cleary does a well, all the tales in the old book there are based around one common theme. That theme is it's evolution, baby. How do we find these themes, you might ask? Well, myself and Nick May, we send each other a list. I believe I was first up on issue 1, and I sent him a list, and he chose from that list Too Many Chooks. And then I remember Nick sent me a list. He sent me a list next. Here I am breaking the rule of her having both eyes on the side of her head. Anyway, no Peppa Pig for this guy. Yeah, and so at some point, I believe this was Nick May's list, and from that list, being a big Pearl Jam fan, when I saw that he had written It's Evolution, Baby, it was a no-brainer. And we went with It's Evolution, Baby. And I remember we had just come out with issue 2 of Vamoose. I was at a convention, and Angie Spice was there, and we'd already filled up. In my mind, we were doing 22-page issues at the time. We'd already invited and filled up issue 3. So I asked Angie, did she want to be in issue 4? And she said, yeah. And I said, I won't be for a little while. Well, that young go-getter, she started drawing it immediately. And so I had pages from Angie for issue 4 before we had even completed issue 3. Can I tell you when I got the pages from Angie, just so I can feel bad about? I don't think I'm ever doing Vamoose again. the pressure, I feel like it's a pressure that I put on myself, but I feel like I feel bad that this shit, that I hold on to this stuff for so long. So I believe she sent me the pages on the 25th of February 2022. So we've had a whole 2020. Wait. 20. So yeah, let me do. That's two. That's 2 years, right? This is what I'm talking about. Why would I do this to myself? At least when Sluggish or something is delayed, the only person annoyed at me is me. If and when there is a new Vamoose, I think the plan is Nick and I are going to have finished our pages before we invite anybody. And we'll sort of say, we're planning on releasing it in 2 months, sort of thing, or whatever, a realistic deadline, mate. Oh, God damn. I think I'm a bit more judgy when I'm in front of y'all, because I don't like it. Let's go back. I feel like we did it all right here. Is it a cheat to take this? Change it up a little bit? I'm only ripping off myself, right? So did I finish anything? Sorry, my life, I haven't finished shit. So Peter Wilson. Peter Wilson was the first person we invited to Vamoose outside of Nick and myself. I didn't know Pete except that he was in the same sort of circle with the Comex peeps and whatever. And he drew really good backgrounds, very intimidating, beautiful backgrounds. And I think that's all I kind of knew about him. And I had this picture in my head of what he looked like, and he didn't look like that. I pictured him older than me and more mature than me, like in a Spedsy, I would be delighted to join your little funny book. And he was neither of those things. What did I say? Yeah, so I believe he's younger than me, and I believe he's as mature as me. Is that what I'm trying to say? I don't know, mate. Yeah, Peter Wilson just dropped a comic book called Foes, where a demon and a alien fight over a donut. They both come to Earth with thoughts of destroying said Earth, and instead fight over a donut and kind of thwart each other's attempts. Gee. You're watching in real time an artist who's disappointed in himself. Nicole Kane. Now, she's probably, of the people on here, one of the ones I know the least. I don't think I've ever met her. She is a frequent cohort of Chris Pitcairn, who I'm a big fan of Chris Pitcairn. I believe she is the primary writer of Chris's books, and he's the primary illustrator of her books. You could almost say they work on their books together. I don't know. Looking great, Spedsy from Aussieverse. Lies. Sky's Cavern Library / Hairbutt has been in the can for ages. I didn't know that. From Peter Lane. Poor Angie Spice, so patient. Yes, very patient. Dude, the amount of pages I've sat on from different artists. Pete, try your best not to sit on them, because like a lot of time gets spent on these things, and to put just creases and whatnot in them, just, so you can find yourself a seat. It's like, invest in a couch, buddy. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to give this a little bit of life, because I need to sort of see some a little bit of finishedness, because otherwise I'm going to get annoyed. Where the donkey? Don't look if you don't want spoilers. I'll try not to let you see too much. Oh, where are you going, mate? Come on, mate. Yeah, Nicole Kane. So obviously awesome to have her involved, and she, I believe, is filling in, or I don't know what you call it. So Drink and Draw is returning to weekly, but not with Meekly, not with me, not with the OGs, because, and it's correct, this show has suffered since going fortnightly, because just that continuity, that sort of continuity is not the word. What's the word? Regularity, high fiber diet, something. Yeah, so Sis is rightfully getting it back to weekly with a new team. So the OGs, myself and the Nicks and Dave and Alex and Shaden, we will still be on every second Friday, and on every other Friday will be a bit of a rotating team, one being hosted by Nicole Kane and Chris Pigcamp. So that will be fun to watch. Not me, I'll be crying inside when they do it better than I do it. No, it'll be awesome. Yeah, so look out for that on comment.net.au/wherever the fuck. Dana Lawson. Now, here's someone I've worked with a few times, yet barely know. I have a interest in, I wouldn't say, it's like a passing interest in people's last names. And Lawson just gets my imagination running because it's obviously the son of law, a lawman, or law woman, mate. Well, I don't know if that's how it worked back in the Dizzy, but you know what we're talking about. So Dana Lawson, I know her through her father, Peter Lawson, co-creator of Torn. That looks weird. All right. But anyway, let's just keep going. We'll fix it in post, mate. Yeah, she's a great artist, obviously. Vamoose only deals in great artists, mate. I originally knew her primarily as a colorist, but then the more I became familiar with her work, she's got quite a unique style of characters and whatnot. And yeah, we did a story together in the last Vamoose, Robots and Rowboats. And so I reached out and wondered if she would want to do it again. And she did. And I'm quietly quite proud of what we did. It was a lofty, more serious tale in the book, and it tries to do a lot in 2 pages. But yeah, she I think she did great, and I think it's one of the prettiest. It's actually on the it's on the Kickstarter. It's the second sample page. I took the text off because it overpowers the art a little bit for the sample, but yeah, give it a look, mate. Give it a look. Yeah, so Dana Lawson, and then we got Neil Blandon. Now, what can I say about Neil that hasn't been said about the villages of Pompeii? I just don't have it tonight, guys. I don't. Some would say I've never had it. Neil Blandon, I know him. Steve McLeod. Steve, hadn't seen you for a while, mate. Hey, Spedsy, how's it going, mate? Good, dude. Beautiful art, great lines as always. Steve, I'm not having a good night, mate. I don't know that it's just not, this is too plain Jane. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just not feeling it, mate. I'm just not feeling it. So I'm jumping all over the shop, just looking for bits to draw, just to muck around. We're only here for a little bit longer, mate. So, Neil Blandon, yeah. So I had heard of through Nick May, but I think he got on my radar when Gary Della started talking about him. And he has, I've been saying this a lot, like a very unique style, but he has a very unique sense of humor and very much on my wavelength of enjoyment. Landon is still standing. Yeah. Landon still standing. Yeah, is that what you mean? Hey, Naughtiest Art. Thanks for coming, man. G'day, Goobers. What's up, Dan? Blur. Blur in your pants, mate. Blur in your pants. That panel isn't finished by any stretch, but I'm just going where my heart goes, mate. Because this is annoying me. This is what they tune in for, mate. The agony. The agony. The agony. But Mother was giving me a bath last night. As she was scrubbing my back, she said I was the best cartoonist, and I believe her. I have had the pleasure, nay, the honor of conning. What do you call it? Tabling with, or at, or beside, or near, or in the vicinity of Neil, and he's a good time. And I think he lives on Front Street. He doesn't. He's not one for platitudes. Platitudes. That's not to say that he's not one with the hellos and the how you goings. But if he thinks you're being if he's not a fan of something, he'll let you know. But I don't think that's right. What is it? He maybe has a little bit of me, that just the disease where you just open your mouth and you just say things. And for instance, he was like, "When's what is it? When's Bassoon coming out?" Which is Vamoose, which I just found absolutely hilarious. Now there are probably some overly precious people who maybe would have like, "How dare I forget the name of my illustrious something or other." But yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know. Neil, save me. One thing that had me overthinking is I tried to put a hashtag relevant to each person when promoting this Vamoose issue. Oh, bloody learn to draw, you jerkbag. And yeah, on Neil's I wrote comics aren't for kids, hashtag comics aren't for kids, to which I had a quiet chuckle. And then I thought, what happens when the internet comes looking for me? People start commenting, "What are you talking about? Comics aren't for kids." It's that kind of elitist gatekeeping attitude that prevents this medium from reaching the heights that it once reached back in the 90s. So yeah, that's where I ended up on that one. Let's just check what he's actually saying here. I removed the text so y'all can see it. So yeah, he's meant to be a little bit worried. So that's kind of what we've got going there. Neil Blandon reminds me of the great underground comic artist Gilbert Sheldon of Freak Brothers and Robert Crumb's Mr. Natural. I dig it. Hell yeah, Steve. I agree. Sure, I don't know who Gilbert Sheldon is, but Robert Crumb I am aware of. And the amount of times I have spoken with Brennan Halliday, who has mentioned, because I thought it a positive thing that when someone says, "Oh, have you read," or "Do you know ... and rather than pretend, like, "Oh yeah, no, I love his work on that thing that he did," I'm just honest and say, "No, I don't know who that is." And yeah, Brendan will pull me up and say, "You worked in a comic shop for 11 years and you don't know who Gilbert Sheldon is?" Yeah, well, I don't. So apologizing is what I should do. Apologies. That's what I was trying to say. Words. I don't know what these spots are. I think they're age spots or something because I've not put them on the kids. But they do add so much to like some sparse. They add some details. Good, mate, is what I'm trying to get to. And so these kids here are quite detailless. But oh wellity. I don't know that we covered Neil Blandon. I don't know that we covered anything really, but I was going to be paid in original Robert Crumb comics, but I couldn't accept. Damn, why did I have to be nice? LOL. Oh, you couldn't accept because you thought it was too much. I thought you were going to say because you wanted actual money. I once got years and years ago, my favorite wrestler at the time, CM Punk, was having a pretend beef with comic book writer Ed Brubaker. And so I drew a picture of CM Punk fighting Ed Brubaker, to which CM Punk shared. And it was from my blog. And so my blog, registered the hits or whatever. And I got over 8,000 views to my blog for this picture. And like that was a big deal. And so, but then with that came job offers, lots of job offers, not one of them for actual money. And the one that made me laugh the most was a guy who offered me UFC gear, like gloves and stuff. And he wanted me, draw their company logo and get this UFC gear. And I was like, bruh, you don't know me. I haven't exercised since 1982. I then tried to. I thought, well, this is easy street. What I'm gonna do is just draw famous people and get them to retweet me, and something, fame and fortune. Next, I did Mark Maron fighting the Iron Sheik because they had a bit of a hubbub, and Mark Maron shared that, and it got like 2,000 views or something. So then I thought, sky's the limit. Here we go. I can't remember who I did next, but I did like one or two more, and they didn't get shared. And I just thought, I'm drowning in UFC gear at this point. I don't know if this is translating into dollars. Jess Kitty Parker. Jess Kitty Parker plays in a different sort of circle, I think. And I was enamored by her. When I say different, as in like, sort of, I was pulling from the sort of the Comexy reverie, sort of my peers with Vamoose. Was she in Vamoose 1? I think, Vamoose 1, obviously. And then I think she was in 2. Anyway, so I was a fan of her art, followed her online, and just thought, man, it would be good to have her in the book and also have someone from that sort of squish face sort of circle in there. And so we had her in the book, and she did the Dirtling in the first issue. And then I got in contact with her, and she's super busy these days. And I said, well, I was looking through her stuff, and she had a story that totally fit the evolution of it all. And I said, what if you didn't have to do anything new? We could just repurpose that, resize it and everything. And you would see it in print for the first time, blah blah blah. And yeah, so I got to backdoor my way into having Jess Kitty Parker in the book, which is sweet. Yeah, I don't know much about Jess personally. I know I tried to do a Vamoose live stream for Vamoose 2, I think. And I underestimated the Drink and Draw is kind of like a train that is going to keep chugging whether you put coal in the engine or not. Like, it'll just keep going, and the objective there is to keep it on the tracks. Or my job is to keep that train on the tracks in some semblance of a cohesive something or other. When I then tried to mimic it, but with that sort of, without the crutch of having art and all that sort of stuff, when it's just me interviewing people and it's definitely my thing and whatever, it made for, yeah, I quickly felt the pressure and then buckled under said pressure, which led to a few weird, awkward moments. So much so, someone in the chat at one point went, "For God's sake, someone help him." Which I still think is hilarious when I think about it from every now and again. Oh, my favorite stream moment though is when professing my love to Nick May's sister, because I realized she was watching the stream. And so I thought, oh, I'll tell her about how I used to have a crush on her back in the day. This would be a funny story. And then, yeah, I'm like 3 sentences in, and Nick said, "She's left the room." I don't know why I found that. I just found that so funny. Oh, it was good times. Sounds like when bands get paid in exposure. There's Peter Lane. Yeah, been there. That was my I'm so removed from that world now, but I obviously learnt a lot of lessons. And one of my best friend's sons was getting into the music industry, and in a totally different site, like he was getting into hip hop and stuff in a managerial way. And his dad said, "Oh, like, if you had any advice for him, it'd be great." And I was like, I said what I just said to you guys, that I'm so out of that world, and all my advice is out of date. And I said, but one thing though, once you make it known that on the internet or whatever that you're in the music industry and you're trying to make a career for yourself and whatever, you will get so many emails from people who want your money for bullshit that will just be, join this, do that, we can get you this and get you that, and all you got to do is pay so much of this. And yeah, and I was just like, 92% of them are bullshit, and the other 8% are also bullshit. LOL, I always thought your interview got better the more you talked. You tend to go dark. I still remember the girl you had a crush on. Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I do tend to go dark accidentally. And I don't know where I'm going tonight. I have not planned very well. I have no darkness planned, but I don't think I ever plan it. Captain Planet. Yeah, and I also, now that I've done a few of these streams and they're all like 3 hours long, we're not doing 3 hours tonight. I'm just not doing it, mate. Who knows though? Yeah, I'm not sure what I've talked about and haven't talked about, and so I don't want to repeat myself. For instance, I wrote down poop panties. And as a story to tell, and then I was like, I think I might have told the story about the poop panties, which, if for those who don't know, or for even those who do know, that's a ridiculous thing to say. Have I told you about the poop panties? And just even saying, have you heard about the poop panties, totally gives away the ending, that they were full of poop. Um, 5 hours. Yeah, all right. Let's go for it, Pete. Who are we up to? Dave Dye. What can I say about Dave Dye? I have to check with Dave how we're going. I need to check in every now and again because I really enjoy exposing Dave's ignorance for like Spider-Man or whatever. I love tripping him up on drink and draw and whatever. But every now and then I feel like it gets close to making him look silly, and I worry that he thinks that I'm trying to make him look silly when I guess I am, but not at his expense. I'm just trying to make funny. I just think it's hilarious. Just the I don't know. I like exposing the age gap between Dave and I, or something. I think that's kind of accurate. Yeah, so every now and again I check in with Dave to see, did I go too far with that one? Yeah, because obviously my objective is never to hurt anybody or whatever, to make them feel awkward or weird or whatever. I feel like Dave has hung out with me enough now that he would just say, "Boy, quit it." But yeah, I've been waiting for, because postage these days is a pain in the beasting. I've been waiting for something else to tickle my fancy on at the Comex shop, so that I could get the latest Amazing Tales. And with Battle for Bustle dropping today, I bought Battle for Bustle and Amazing Tales 7, I think. And shame on me, I think Amazing Tales 8 is almost ready. So it's shameful how long it's taken me to get on the Amazing Tales train. These lines are too thick, guys. My pen size has gone up a little bit, and I don't like it. Also, everything about this is kind of crap. Yeah, Dave is another one that I don't know. I love him, and he would not like to hear me say that, perhaps, or hear me say it out loud, or something like that. But it's just the way it is. Oh, Naughtiest Art. So I think we might have talked about this in the past, but I believe I'm at 300 DPI. I think it's just by the time I zoom all the way in, and then just the nature of being up on the screen and all that stuff, it perhaps looks a little shitty. What do we got? Where do we find the DPI-ness? I always just, oh yeah, there we go, 300 DPI. I just use the same template, so it's one I set up forever ago. Yeah, so it probably looks a bit pixelated to you, but it looks crisp as a banana over here, mate. Like a green banana, when they're a little bit too crisp, mate. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Did we do it? I think we did it. Old Man Biscuit solo comic with Dave Dye cosplay photo cover. I have a question about that in a sense. Dave is a really good artist, says Naughtiest Art. Completely agree. Naughtiest Art, it's good. I only ask. I've been going 600, but it's too clean looking, I think. Yeah, I totally get that. Like my art, though, is Clean City. And I'm feeling it's way too clean tonight. I'm a little bit embarrassed. But like, here's a good example of a page. But as you can see, the lines are crispy. And then on these sort of lines here, I try to make them look rougher, but yeah, totally not of a style like what else have I got here? I've got someone else's. Oh yeah, like here's something I'm working on with Ben Sullivan. And yeah, he uses brushes, and yeah, I mean, look at that. It's crisp in its own way, but at the same time, it's rough as guts. It's yeah. More on that later. I won't be able to stop talking about that in a couple of months. But we've got quite a few pages before we get there. Oh, now that I've backed out, I can't undo. This is so annoying. This panel looks so shit. Stop saying it. You're going to make people believe. That's a piece of advice Dave Dye gave me. Stop self-deprecating, because people are going to start believing it. But I feel a little bit vulnerable and exposed tonight. So I think that's why I'm almost letting you know that I know. Because I think last time I was working on the Vamoose cover, which I don't mind saying, I was pretty proud of. And as far as within my realm of skill or whatever, it was some of my best work. So I guess working on that, I felt pretty good. Whereas the nature of Sluggish is to be lo-fi, to be indie feeling, to be that instead of pages taking me 10 hours, like Sky's Cabin Library would take me 5 to 10 hours a page. I'll show you one. Do you want to see one? Sluggish takes an hour to 2 hours a page. Let me find one. Oh, holy! Sometimes when I can't see them straight away, I start freaking out because where did it go? And no. Well, there's the thumbnails of Sky's Cabin Library. Keep them in the one folder, mate. That would make sense. Oh, here we go. See, why would I put that as the cover when that's unfinished? But yeah, so obviously more detail and good times added to those suckers. Let's check the runtime on this one, mate. Let's check the old runtime. No, that's not what we want. Where's the thing that says statistics? Canvas information, statistics. 12 hours I spent on that page. That's actually a little bit insane. I thought I was getting faster. Okay, 6 hours on that page. That's not too bad. This one's a little more sparse. Let's check. 6 hours. Okay, I have got my time down. I thought I was doing better than 10 hours. 9 hours. 9.5 hours. Look for that in the next couple of months. And look at this Sluggish cover. Look at that. Look at that, mate. Isn't it beautiful? Bit of a... obviously, there's 1, 2, and 3 in a row there. A bit of a quality drop, but, you know, what are you going to do, mate? All right, let's get back to it for a little bit longer. Alex Major is another guy that I apologize to every now and again. Alex has a habit of derailing. I was talking about the train earlier, of the drink and draw, and as much as I try to keep it on the tracks, Alex is almost built to derail said train, which I enjoy. It makes some of the more wilder moments in the show, but also then I have apologized to Alex every now and then, or not apologized, but apologized, but checked. Hey man, did I go too far when I told you to shut up, or whatever the case may be? Because in the name of comedy, and sometimes in the name of frustration, I'll go, Alex, shut the fuck up, or whatever. Yeah, I love Alex. He sort of my style peers, who I would count, Peter Wilson, Nick May, Dean Rankin, Alex Major. Alex might just be the best of us. He's definitely he's definitely the quickest at making something amazing. Like, he seems to effortlessly put together stunning pieces, and does a style of shading that I have tried to mimic, and I just can't get it to look as good as he gets it. I'm getting the squints. Yes, I love Alex. Hayden Spurrell. What can I say about Hayden that hasn't been said about? I'm bailing on that whole premise that I started a while ago, because I think I was getting towards problematic. Hayden, I've told the story, so I won't go too far into repeating whatnots, but he was Gary's go-to writer a couple of years ago, and when I rocked up and sort of started doing more and more gigs for Reverie, he could have quite easily got annoyed or poo-pooed me or whatever. Instead, he became a real sounding board for ideas and taught me so much. He's the editor on Sluggish, and he said on the last issue, I think, he goes, I don't even do anything. It's like, you send it and it's like ready to go. And I was like, yeah, but that's because you taught me so much on Sluggish 1 and on the last Vamoose and whatever. Yeah, it taught me so much that then I applied what he taught me. So it's to his credit in a way that there's less. He has to do less editing of things because he taught me how to self-edit a little bit. And he's just a good dude. We actually hung out yesterday. Me, Ben, and Hayden went out for a coffee, even though I don't drink coffee. Now, here's the thing about those two. Now, we've hung out, 30 times for coffees and whatever. Every single time, like an idiot, I buy us hot chips. They never eat them. I eat 97% of the chips that I buy. And even yesterday, Hayden had the audacity to try and pay towards the chips. And I was like, dude, you had maybe 3 chips. So I don't know what's up with these guys with what they have against chips, and also why I continue to pretend as though I'm buying chips for us to share, when really I'm just buying chips for me. And then I look like a pig who is just smashing these things of chips while they're like, "Oh, thank you, I'm watching my weight." I don't say that, but Chris Pitcairn. Chris is another fun person on Drink and Draw. He's a grown up. He's one of the. I enjoy making jokes in his presence because he groans at them, and I'll take a groan. I will take it. It's almost as good as because I will then laugh. If you groan, I will laugh, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. As long as I'm laughing, mate. That's yeah, and I have a piece. I have a piece by, if you can see, just here. That's a page of Chris Pitcairn's. He drew a bunch of characters from the Spedsy verse, a bunch of my characters. Such an absolute joy to get in the mail. And he's just really good. It wasn't a mermaid to be found amongst them though, which was disappointing. But yeah, really, really cool of him to send. Also, there's a page. There's a page from Dave Dye there too, which is a page from, I don't know if it'll ever come out, but we for a hot second we were going to continue Ring Around the Rosie, book that me, Ben Sullivan, Lee Chalker, and Ryan Vella put together, and we got Dave to draw a 4-page story that I wrote in the Rosie universe, and yeah, just a hoot to have a page of my words turned into wicked visuals by Dave, and then yeah, for him to give it to me, it's awesome. Yeah, so much love to Chris. Stoked to have him back. It's his second issue of Vamoose, which is available now on vamoose.com. That's not correct. vamoose.spedsy.com. Last but certainly not least, Ben Sullivan. When you find someone that you can jam with, that you vibe with creatively and just dude-wise, friend-wise, whatever, hold on to them. Yeah, I've been... well, I guess it's no secret. I literally blogged about it. Ben and I, we just signed a deal to publish a book together, a kid's book, a kid's graphic novel. And yeah, we've been pitching ideas for 6-7 months or something, and so much fun jamming on these concepts, and we've got so many more that I just hope and wish we get to do. That's the way I feel about you, bro. Thanks, man. Well, yeah, it is when you find like-minded souls, clutch them. That's not the word. All right, so that's Vamoose. It's at vamoose.spedsy.com. I'll stop talking about it now. If you could check it out, you don't have to back it or anything, but just give it a look. Because there's also Pink Flamenco by Nick May there, which is awesome. What else should we talk about? I was tempted to talk a little bit about my novels that I put out a few years back, only because they got on Omnibo's radar and sort of therefore back on mine. I'm doing the hard stuff later. I'm just skipping through and doing bits at the moment. Let's play around here and just see how we go. But yeah, so years ago, I had done a great many years. I did my whole 20s, 17 through to 35 or something, chasing music. The majority of that as the singer-songwriter of a band. And then later I would be the bass player of my brother's folk band and whatnot, as a way to keep my foot in the music door, but without having to be the sort of front man with all the pressure and whatnot. But outside of like playing in a band, obviously very fun while you're on stage. Just trying to work out why does that look weird? I think it's just the background shit. But all the other stuff, holy tremoles. Like lugging gear and whatever, yeah, that's all whatever. But having to get people in a room and yeah, talking about people jiving together and whatever, finding people with a common goal can be hard. And I had in the past scared people away from being so goal driven and teaming up with whatever people and then going too hard and scaring them away, turning fun creative whatever's into work, but that was my dream, was to make the creative fun stuff work, but I didn't realize at the time that not everyone shared that goal, or that, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know that's work ethic or anything, but because people have work ethic for their work. But I was trying to make my hobby my work. Yeah, so at a certain point, I just really grew tired, and not anybody's fault, but the fun was out. I'm all over the shop with the reasoning here, but it was just really hard to get people in a room to play music, and obviously I had all kinds of things going on at the time, depression and shit that was making just everything kind of weirdly difficult, or more difficult than life was fine. People go through way bigger, worse things. But what's my point? But yeah, just it was harder than it needed to be. So I put the band away for a while, which turned out to be forever. I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was just taking a break. And I'm still on that break. What the fuck's my point? No, but obviously, yeah. So, but part of me still. So I started putting my energy towards the other things that I had always wanted to do, and one of them was screenwriting. I just believed, I still believe, that I had a relationship with words. That while I'm maybe not the most grammar perfect Yahoo, I could spin a phrase, or I could tell a story. I could I don't know. I could use words to engage and whatever. And so I thought that how to harness that would be screenwriting. So I took a few screenwriting courses. Firstly I wrote like a 140-page screenplay at work. Alt tab is a beautiful thing. Alt tab, especially when you work for a boomer who doesn't know what alt tab is, and so I would just get all my work done in the morning, and then I would just write for the rest of the day, and I would look really busy because I'm like, and then walking in the room, alt tab, and there you go. I also lost every job I've ever had, pretty much. So, one of those things equals the other. But anyway, so I went to this screenwriting course, and like I was the only one there who had a screenplay already written. Like, because I figured I've written it, but I should go and learn it and then do a second draft with the knowledge that I gained from this course. So I went, and everyone was like, the other students were astounded that I already had a movie feature film screenplay or whatever, and they're like, "Where do you find the time?" And I told them about alt tab, and they were flabbergasted. Such was just back like pre family and life responsibilities. I had very little regard for my employment. It's not the case now, Mr. and Mrs. Boss, if you're watching. I'm very diligent. I have all my work done. No, my current employer is very, very awesome, and totally get it. They are creatives, so they get it. So I learned a lot though from this screenwriting place, but I also learned that, like anything, it wasn't just like I just come from music where it's like, please listen to my demo, and now I was going into this other industry where it's like, please read my script, and just everything was just like in the hands of someone else to grant your wish. And while I then went on to write 2 TV pilots. One, so like there's a write what you know type thing, and I had done a year, 2 years at TAFE, and I had spent that time. I was a 17, 18-year-old in a class with 2 other 17, 18-year-olds, and the rest were like 50-year-olds. And those 50-year-olds would take us to the pub almost every day to have lunch and to drink beer. And so I drank TAFE away, and I would ride my bike home, and I would be drunk every day. And it was awesome. Except it was awesome until years later I would apply for a graphic design course and sat through the whole seminar of the thing, and then they were like, all right, so it'll be $8,000. And I was like, whoa, what? And I told my mum, and she was like, well, yeah, that's how much that stuff costs. That's the same as the original TAFE course you did. Then came the guilts. Yes, my mum and dad paying $8,000 for me to drink for a year and a bit. Didn't make me feel good. So I wrote this screenplay about, it was called Further Education. I'm a sucker for a title that has 2 sort of meanings. Further education. Obviously, the characters are there to be further educated, but also, it spoke to the characters. The 2 main characters were maybe not particularly street smart yet, sort of thing. Like they required, or maybe that's not 2 different meanings. That's just the same meaning in 2 different ways. Further education, but just one's literally they were being further educated, and then anyway, I remember it being clever, than perhaps it is. But yeah, then a show called Community came out, which, you know, so I told the tale of, these two 20-somethings hanging out with all these 50-somethings. And, hilarity ensues. And then Community came out, which is essentially the exact same premise, which is just, a happy coincidence. And it's not like I was having any luck getting people to read my thing anyway. But that definitely had me going, oh, well, fuck it. That sort of... yeah, and so annoyed with the community of it all, but also annoyed that just sick of trying to get somebody to read my thing before I can make a thing. I considered, I had directed a few video clips and stuff at the time. Filmed and directed and edited some video clips for some bands. And I'm just remembering now, one was hilarious where a friend's band put out a call for extras to just come and be in the crowd shot of like they're playing and the camera's going to pan out and there's a crowd watching, and so, hey buddies, could you come and be part of the crowd? So I went down and I stood amongst everybody else for the sort of briefing before the filming production, whatever, started. And the guy goes, all right, so over there, that's Spedsy. He'll be your director. And I thought it was a joke at first because I was there by complete accident. I just thought, it's just down the road. I'll pop in. They're good buddies and whatever. No one told me I was directing this video clip. Went on to have a really awesome day directing, but it was very, very random that I was called upon with no prior organizing. Yeah, so I briefly considered trying to make a short film, but just, money and having to get people, having to organize people, etc., etc. And that's what I was actively trying to avoid at that point. So sick of trying to get people to read a thing before I can make a thing and whatever, I decided I'm just going to make a thing. I sat down to write a novel. I had attempted one years and years ago and hadn't got past a handful of pages. But I was a little bit more determined this time. I'm just trying to think what the timeline was. Because I remember once I started going, it all happened quite quickly. Because once I opened the floodgates and I sort of started having fun, it was freaking fun. Just sort of, ugh. I don't know. It was just fun. Just being able to make up anything, and one of my greatest, the greatest accomplishment was showing it to my dad and getting my dad to read it and getting my dad to help me with the blurb on the back, because he was so chuffed. He was a literary consumer, and consume it he did. And I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying my dad was thrilled at how good it was. To his, identity. You know what I'm saying. So that meant a lot to me. And then, my dad helping me do the blurb on the back because he had read the book, and then so now let's sum it up in a handful of words. And I think he just liked being part of the process a little bit. And then then it came time to publish it or whatever, and I had no idea how to do that. And everywhere I looked, it was like, please allow it 6 to 12 months for your manuscript to be read before. And I was just like, no, did this because I didn't want to wait for someone to tell me I could make it. I found a little publisher in Sydney. They were called Writers and Ebooks, and they were essentially a dude with a printer who's like, I'll print your book and I'll put it on my website. And he had hundreds of books on this thing, and and I sent him it, and I mean, he couldn't have read it because within a day or two he was like, yep, we'll stock your book, and how many copies do you want? And we're off and running. And and then I joined a writers group, just a place where fellow creative dorks hang out. And I was in that writers group up until just around the time when Drink and Draw started, because strangely enough, what I was getting from the writers group, I actually got in spades from Drink and Draw, and that was hanging out with fellow creatives and listening to how they do things and learning and just sharing stories about how you make shit and whatever. Learning from the greats, some of the greats. And and I swore at the time that that's what I would do. I would just keep making these things because it required almost no money. It was very fulfilling, and I had something out in the world. And another really fun time was two of my best buddies. Not long after my book had come out, we were hanging out, and they were both avid fantasy novel readers, and they were sitting on either side of me. And it started from a place of like talking about the book with me, and then they started talking to each other about it, and it was like they were talking about a TV show they had just watched. Like, could you believe this? Wasn't it bullshit when so-and-so did this? And man, I loved it when this happened. And I was just like, it was very surreal to be sitting there and hearing people debating, even though it's my buddies, and but it was still really cool. And I swore at the time, like a few of them asked, like, when's the next one? And I said, I'm pretty sure this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep doing this because I found it very, very rewarding and easy. Not easy in that like book writing is easy or whatever, but just like easy. It wasn't taxing emotionally or anything. It was just creating. I think I got a little bit more comfortable because I started doing this panel that was annoying, and it's still, that is an odd perspective and whatnot, but we're not thinking about it. We're just doing it. This is what Sluggish was and is about. There's nothing like getting a Ledger Award nomination to suddenly feel pressured for the follow-up to be as good or better or whatever. And the good part is, for the most part, reports on Sluggish 2 were quite positive. So it's like, oh yes, I did it. Like, people seem to think it's as good or even better in some cases than the first one. So then that relief only lasts for about 4 seconds, because then you realize, well, shit, now I have to do number 3. And yeah, I've got lofty plans. I mean, and I just don't know if it abides, if it's in keeping with what people are expecting. But I've got to be true to the craft, man. So there was a moment in time where I had completed the Devil's Toilet 1, but it was an exercise in improving my drawing, because I had done a book in 2000, keep forgetting the date, I think it was 2013, called Badly Beaten Boy, and while it is heavily flawed, if you look at page 1 versus page 22 or whatever, I improved a lot. There's nothing like drawing the same people over and over and over for 20 pages to get better at drawing said people. So I thought, I love drawing, so I never stopped drawing, but I was drawing a little bit aimlessly at the time and not improving. I would just draw a couple of eyes, draw a couple of heads until I, listen to music, and then, all right, now I'm done for the night, sort of thing. So I set about completing a new comic book with no real plans for it, because I had failed so spectacularly with Badly Beaten Boy. I had made the thing, I mean, not failed, but just I didn't know what to do with it. I printed 100 copies and was like, then what? And so, I've still got 112 copies. Somehow I got more copies. So I didn't know what to do with it. So I completed Devil's Toilet 2, and then I set about writing a new novel. And the first draft is complete, and it's huge. It's so the first 2 novels that are out were meant to be 3 novels. But the trick there is that, as much as this goes against everything I was just saying, in an effort to get published or whatever, people would still, while I was improving in my novel writing as well, you still have to read the first one to understand the second one, the third one, etc. So even if the third one was freaking amazing, it still relies on you getting through that first one. So I didn't like that and wanted to start a whole new thing using what I had learnt from that original There Are Only Moments and All Will Fall, the first 2 books. So I wrote this book called The Dreaded, and I didn't want to fall in that same trap of doing 3 parts and then stopping after the second part. So I did all 3 parts at once, with the idea it would be one big tome. And large it is. And when I've told people, they've said, you need to cut that down. And I was sort of like, do I though? Like, at the end of the day, it's for me pretty much, and for the handful of people that enjoy my shindiggery. And I think there's good stuff in there. But yeah, so I finished the first draft of this chunky monkey, and I really need to set aside some time to do a second draft. The nature of, people say, the first draft is always rubbish. And I guess they're not wrong, but my first drafts are kind of like drafts 1 through to 5 in one. Like I'll do a chapter, and then before continuing, I'll go back and redo that chapter again. So everything has been done 2 or 3 times. But particularly with some time now, I need to go back and give it a look and see where it falls apart, where it excels and where it falls apart, etc. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm getting a little bit parched in the old throat area, mate. So I think I might call it. I think we might be done for the night. I was thinking about next Wednesday, not this Wednesday coming, but next Wednesday, this time over in Comics Network. Me and Nick May might do a little thing. I don't know what yet. Hopefully we can both draw together on the screen. If we can't do that, we might do some sort of alternating thing, or we might just hang out. We'll see. But yeah, if you get a chance, you know what? I might even just click we'll do that as the outro. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll play you the little Vamoose thingy on the outro. If you get a sec, if you could, where is it? Just down there in the bottom corner of the screen, vamoose.spedsy.com. Vamoose.spedsy.com. Give it a look if you can, mate. And thanks for bearing with me through this this panel here. That was a lot of straight lines, but I'm glad to have it done. For those of you looking at that perspective and going, "What the hell?" Thus is the nature of Sluggish. Check out this that I keep saying to myself I should go back and fix. But that's not what Sluggish is about, mate. Where is it? There's a fridge. Where does the guy? Does he not even go to the fridge in the first issue? I thought it was a cut and paste of the fridge. All right, maybe it's not in the first issue. Maybe it's in the second issue. He goes to the fridge. All right, there's the fridge. All right, so the fridge is on some weird angle. Wait for it. Am I making this up? I swear there's a crooked fridge, you guys. Oh, there we go. Crooked fridge. So I don't know what that fridge is doing. If you look at the sink and everything in the background, it's all very just straight normal background. And then this fridge is kind of lunging forward. But see, now that I look at how loose those lines are, I'm worrying too much, mate. It's Leisure Award-winning shit, mate. Well, not award-winning. It's very fucking nominated shit, mate. Yeah. I'll regret saying that. You know, we're just having a good time, mate. Thanks, Nick. You're awesome. Let's process together. Yeah, so slow goings on the next Sluggish, but we got a bit of a page and a bit done tonight. But do you want to see something? I'll show you. This is the thumbnails. I just got to turn all that red shit off. That was me trying to work out the. But yeah, this is the Sluggish how-to, and I have to say thank you to people who have joined my Substack and who are doing the paid tier stuff. Substack doesn't let you have, at least I couldn't work out how to have one where you have no pay option at all. So I just had to have a pay option, and then people paid, and then I was just like, oh god. And now a few more people have paid. I'm like, oh god. So I want to detail this process a little bit. For particular one person said, I paid the extraordinary amount, hoping you'll do process videos or whatever. So, you know, oh god. But yeah, half the joy of Sluggish is, I like to call it, finding the sad in the thumbnails. So I have a very skeleton script, and then I pace it out in pages here. And this genius method I did with number 2, but I thumbnailed it out without writing a script first. I thought I'm just going to do the whole thing on the thumbnails, and it was awesome, very creative. Dumped it all down, felt really good about it. Then a few other projects came up and I had to go away for a while, and I came back and I had no fucking idea what the story was about, because I had put no speech bubbles. I just had, there was panels like this, but with no speech bubbles at all, like more like this one with question marks for, and so I had to redo the whole issue because I had no idea what was going on. But yeah, look at this, mate. Hilarious moments like this one coming up. Look at that. He's in the gym, and this guy, that's what a muscly slug looks like. You know, so get ready for that. And the guy slowly distances himself away. And there's Herb lifting some weights. Yeah, all right. Well, did we do it? I think we did it. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Bo and the team at Aussieverse for letting me use their whole system here and be on their YouTube channel and all that good stuff. And yeah, vamoose.spedsy.com. And that's all I got for you, mate. Except for one of these. Yeah, g'day, mate. Now, I'm just going to play...
No one wants to hear from Spedsy. Yeah, g'day, mate.
I do that to myself. All right, so thanks. This is the promo video for Sluggish, and it'll cut off somewhere in between it, in the middle of it, because that's how this thing works. Bye.
315,000 years ago was the dawn of man. A weird fish crawled out of the muck and turned into an ape. That ape would go on to be a dude. And thanks to that dude, we may just be at the dusk. So let us read some comic books before we vamoose. You evolve or you evaporate. And we ain't no vapors. Vamoose is back, bigger and better than ever. 80 plus pages of the weird and the wonderful. Ready for a list of names? Rob Lyle, Nick May, Michael Lawyer, Robbie Donaldson, Nicholas Cleary, Peter Wilson, Nicole Kane, Dana Lawson, Neil Blandon, Dave Dye, Alex Major, Angie Spice, Jess Kitty Parker, Hayden Sparrow, Chris Pitcairn, and Ben Sullivan. Vamoose is where the party is at. And the party ain't over yet.